For nearly 7 years, I've been going into prisons and sharing the gospel. We have printed and we've shipped thousands of copies of a book I wrote titled Shut the Hell Up. It's a bold title, and it's for people who feel like hell is roaring in their mind. This book releases a new sound, heaven, faith, victory, and hope. Every week, I receive letters from inmates who tell me of how God has used this book in their life. And recently, I received a letter that was unlike any other. Please listen to the heart behind these precious words.
Hello, Tripp Ministries. I keep my name private due to a high profile. I'm in prison in central Illinois. I was born and raised on the streets of Chicago. I've been in prison for more than 40 years. I'm in my late 70s. I'll die in prison. Terry, gangs, drugs, money, and crime was all I ever knew growing up. I was successful in the mob. I grew in rank. I'd created a lifestyle that few have ever experienced. Well, that ended with me sitting here. I'm writing to say thank you. In all my years in prison, no one has ever sent me any kind of material like this. I'm not sure how this book came to me, but I'm so glad it did. Your book, Shut the Hell Up, certainly got my attention by the title. I started reading it, and before the first chapter ended, I found myself experiencing something I couldn't put into words. I now know it was the Holy Spirit. The message in your book is bold and has shown me God's love in a way I never knew before. Thank you, and keep up the good work. If this book was written for no one else, it was written just for me. You have made a difference in my life.
Hi, Terry. My name is Sean. I am an inmate at Kate Bernard Correctional Facility. When you spoke here, I received a copy of your book. I gave my life to Jesus Christ. I am now leading a Bible study in prison. I am using your book. The ladies love it. We are requesting more copies, please.
The video you're seeing here is a prison that I went to in Oklahoma City. We had over 100 there in the cafeteria, and 65 of them stood to make Jesus Lord of their life. I stayed more than an hour and signed all of their books, prayed with the ladies. It was awesome. South Carolina, over 180 men packed the auditorium, and when I gave the invitation, over 100 of them stood, made Jesus Lord. Another ladies' prison, about 75 gathered together, and more than 50 of them made Jesus Lord of their life. A police officer in Bradenton, Florida, he and his fellow officers take my books to homeless camps, and they give them out to the homeless there in Bradenton, Florida. That guy's smile is worth it all. A few years back, I went to Andrew Womack's Ministers Conference, and when I walked into the auditorium, Heidi ran up to me and said, "Terry, 5 years ago, you spoke on a Saturday morning in Enterprise, Alabama. I was one of 15 ladies that they vanned in from a drug rehab facility, and you gave all of us a copy of your book. I took it, I read it, I gave my life to Christ, and now my husband and I are leaders here at Andrew Womack's Healing School." Delano Correctional Facility, 3rd level maximum security prison. I went there on a Sunday afternoon, took several boxes of books. After I gave the invitation to accept Christ, more than 70 men stood and gave their life to Jesus. With tears streaming down their faces, someone started singing this song, and after about 10 seconds, they all started joining in. I'm so glad I had my iPad right there because I was able to capture what it sounds like when men receive hope. Listen to this. All it takes is one encounter with Jesus. That makes all of the difference. Yes, some of these people, they've done some things in their past that wasn't right, and some of them, they've been hit hard by life. But all they need to know is they have more in their future than they have ever wasted in their past. $4 That's it. $4 is all it takes to print and ship this book to an inmate. $40 will print and ship 10 books. $100, 25 books. $336 will print and ship an entire box of 84 books. $1,008, 3 boxes. Our ministry is not supported by the government or a denomination or an organization. I do appreciate the 7 churches who support our ministry monthly. They've taken us on as part of their missions outreach. That helps. But we solely depend upon people who are sensitive in a moment like this to follow the leading of the Lord, and you want to make a difference. When we ship a book to a prisoner, it's passed around a minimum of 11 times. So that means for $336, we can touch right at 1,000 people with the gospel. $4 will reach 11 inmates. And think about that. $4 a month will reach over 120 people in a year. My goal by the end of year 2020 is to print and ship 20,000 more books, and I can't do that alone. Would you help us? Kim and I, we have committed to sponsor 1 box a month, every month. On the screen, there are several ways you can be involved. Present this to your church. They can be involved. Thank you. Thank you for helping us reach people who so desperately need it.